If you walked into the headquarters of their multi-million-dollar fashion house today, you would be forced to sign a lifetime non-disclosure agreement before you could even say hello to them. They were the most famous children on Earth, worth over $500 million before they could even vote. But then, they vanished. No social media, no red carpets, and a legal wall of silence that hasn't been cracked in decades. What are the Olsen twins hiding, and why are they paying millions to stay out of sight? For years, we watched them grow up on our screens, their faces plastered on everything from plastic lunchboxes to fruit-flavored toothpaste. They were a multi-million-dollar brand before they were even teenagers. But the moment they gained legal control of their lives, they did not just step back from the spotlight. They actively began erasing themselves from the public eye. In 2004, on their 18th birthday, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen did something completely unprecedented in the entertainment industry. They took full control of Dualstar, the massive corporate empire that had managed their careers since they were infants. Instead of throwing the massive Hollywood party or signing a new movie deal, they immediately began dismantling their public-facing empire. They stopped acting, stopped giving interviews, and packed their bags for New York. But as the ink dried on those multi-million-dollar corporate contracts, something shifted. They didn't just step back. They initiated a total media blackout. What happened in those final days of their Hollywood reign that made them run? Tell me in the comments right now, if you had their level of wealth and fame at 18, would you have walked away from it all? Or would you have stayed to build an even bigger entertainment empire? The truth is, their exit was not a quiet retirement. It was a desperate escape from a golden cage. For nearly 2 decades, they had been treated less like human beings and more like highly profitable retail products. They were working 30-hour weeks as toddlers, forced to wear fake teeth when their baby teeth fell out, so the production schedule of Full House wouldn't suffer a single day of delay. By the time they reached adulthood, the psychological toll was undeniable. Mary-Kate was admitted to treatment for an eating disorder just as they turned 18. A stark reminder of the dark reality behind their perfect on-screen smiles. Their move to New York was a calculated effort to reclaim their humanity, but to do so, they had to build an impenetrable fortress around themselves. They stopped using public social media entirely, refused to be photographed unless absolutely necessary, and demanded that their inner circle remain completely silent. But this sudden retreat created a massive information vacuum. The media, desperate for a glimpse of the reclusive twins, became more aggressive than ever, chasing them through the streets of Manhattan. Just when the public thought they had successfully bought their privacy, a devastating lawsuit threatened to blow the entire empire wide open. In 2015, a massive class action lawsuit filed in Manhattan Supreme Court accused the twins' holding company, Dualstar, of wage theft and extreme exploitation. Over 180 past and present interns joined the suit, led by a design intern named Shahista Lalani. Lalani alleged that she was forced to work 50-hour weeks doing intense manual labor without receiving a single dollar of compensation or academic credit. She described a high-stress, toxic environment where she had to carry 50 pounds of heavy trench coats through sweltering Manhattan summer heat, eventually being hospitalized for severe dehydration. This wasn't just a legal headache, it was a massive crack in the polished, quiet luxury image the twins had worked so hard to cultivate. The lawsuit threatened to force Mary-Kate and Ashley into open court, where their financial records and business practices would be made public record. To prevent a highly publicized trial that would expose the inner workings of their empire, the Olsen twins did what they do best. They used their immense wealth to buy silence. They settled the class action lawsuit out of court for $140,000. While that amount might seem like pocket change to billionaires, the real victory was the legally binding confidentiality agreements that came with the settlement. Each intern walked away with roughly $530, and, in exchange, the public never got to see the internal emails, the financial ledgers, or hear the depositions of the twins. But this settlement only begs a larger question. What else were those sealed documents protecting? If you look closely at the court filings and the operations of their luxury fashion label, The Row, a pattern of extreme, almost obsessive control emerges. Former employees of the label have spoken out on background, revealing that they are bound by strict non-disclosure agreements that carry severe penalties if breached. Inside the office, there is a rigid set of unspoken rules designed to maintain the mystique. For instance, employees are actively discouraged from calling them the twins or the girls in front of clients because they believe it belittles their standing as serious creative directors. They want to be referred to strictly by their individual names, Mary-Kate and Ashley, completely severing any association with their childhood brand. This obsession with privacy extends directly to their customers and how the public is allowed to interact with the brand. During Paris Fashion Week in early 2024, the row made headlines by enforcing an absolute ban on smartphones and social media recording during their fall/winter runway show. They requested that guests completely refrain from capturing or sharing any content. Instead of filming, attendees, which included top-tier fashion editors and elite tastemakers, were handed high-end physical notebooks and pens to record their thoughts the old-fashioned way. For several hours after the show, there was not a single image or video of the collection anywhere on the internet. In our hyper-connected digital world, this was practically unheard of. Some critics called the move elitist and out of touch, while others praised it as the ultimate expression of quiet luxury. But this move was entirely consistent with their philosophy. They want their creations to be experienced in absolute secrecy, far away from the lens of a smartphone. Yet, even the most expensive NDAs in the world couldn't stop the secrets of Mary-Kate's private life from leaking when her marriage imploded in the most dramatic way possible. In May 2020, during the height of the global pandemic, Mary-Kate filed an emergency motion for divorce from her husband of 5 years, French banker Olivier Sarkozy. The court filings revealed a chaotic and desperate situation. Mary-Kate claimed that Sarkozy was attempting to force her out of their multi-million-dollar New York apartment by terminating their lease without her knowledge. With courts shut down due to the pandemic, she pleaded for an emergency ruling, stating that she was terrified of losing her home and her personal belongings. This public legal battle was a nightmare for a woman who had spent 15 years avoiding the spotlight. The divorce petition exposed details of their relationship that she had desperately tried to keep hidden, including disputes over his children and his desire to have his ex-wife live with them. But perhaps the most chilling part of their disappearance isn't what they're keeping out of the press. It's what they did to the people who helped them build their empire. When Netflix announced Fuller House, a spin-off of the show that made the twins household names, the creators and cast desperately tried to get Mary-Kate and Ashley to make even a brief cameo. The twins refused, citing that they no longer felt comfortable acting and did not want to return to that world. This decision caused massive tension behind the scenes. John Stamos publicly expressed his frustration, and the show's writers even wrote jokes into the script mocking the twins' absence, attributing it to their busy fashion careers. The message from the Olsens was loud and clear. The chapter of their lives is dead, and no amount of nostalgia or money will ever make them reopen it. They have completely severed ties with their Hollywood past, choosing to exist as ghosts in a world they once dominated. Even their younger sister, Elizabeth Olsen, who found massive success as a Marvel star, was given strict advice by the twins on how to handle the media and maintain her own privacy. In the end, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen did what very few child stars have ever managed to do. They beat the Hollywood machine. They took the immense wealth generated from their childhood exploitation and used it to buy their freedom. Today, they live in a gilded cage of their own design, protected by high-priced lawyers, strict non-disclosure agreements, and a culture of absolute silence. They are billionaires, but they are also prisoners of their own fame, forever hiding from a world that refuses to let them go. Ask yourself, would you trade your entire childhood and every ounce of your privacy for a $500 million empire? Or is the price of fame simply too high to pay? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know whose side you are on. If you want to uncover more hidden truths behind the world's most mysterious celebrities, make sure to subscribe and watch our next video, where we dive deep into the dark side of Hollywood's elite.